Sometimes you will find that a machine is having a belt drive and there are more than one belts used for the purpose of power transmission. Not a single belt is used, 2, 3, 4 belts are used. Now why do we require multiple belts? There is some reason behind it. We have seen just now the formula for power. I'll write here number of belts. We have earlier seen a formula for power which is difference in tensions multiplied by V in watts. So whatever power you find out by this equation, that is the power in watts that is transmitted per belt. Power transmitted per single belt. That means in a given situation, suppose the power transmitted is more than this, that means one belt will never be sufficient. You require more number of belts. So it goes like this. Power to be transmitted by belt drive. Suppose example is, suppose you want to transmit 100 watts of power. Total power what you want to transmit is 100. Now in a given system, whatever is the arrangement there, if you measure and find out the power transmitted at given speed is equal to T1 minus T2 into V. Suppose this value when you calculate it comes out to be suppose 50 watts. In a particular case the value is 50 watts which comes by finding out the velocity and the tensions. Whereas you want to transmit 100 watts, so obviously you will require 2 belts. So you can say that number of belts is given by power needs to be transmitted and power transmitted at given speed divided by power transmitted at given speed. So in this example, power transmitted at given speed is 50 watts, whereas what power you want to transmit is 100 watts. So you will require 100 upon 50, 2 number of belts. Like that, you can calculate how many belts you require in a given situation. And jot this down. So we have seen belt drives. Now let's see the other two types, that is rope drives and chain drives. Now out of that, rope drives, if you see, rope drives are same as belt drives, only they are equivalent to V belts. So last time we have seen V belts. So V belt looks like this, and it comes in contact with the pulley from its sides. So it comes in contact with the pulley from the side, and the same thing happens in case of a rope drive. So rope drive and V belt is same. Same in the sense, same as far as the theory is concerned, as far as the calculations etc. are concerned, whatever we have learned for V belt, everything is applicable to rope drive. So rope drives and belt drives we have completed. Now let us see what is called as a chain drive. So what are chain drives? That is the next thing. We'll see what are chain drives. Now while learning this chain drives, what we do is we are going to understand the concepts in the chain drives by comparing it with the belt drives. So essentially our exercise will be consisting of comparison of chain drives and belt drives. That way we will understand what are the different things which exist for the chain drives as compared to the belt drives. So I'll write here chain drives and belt drives comparison. A comparison. So let us compare these two, and in the process we understand what it is. You can jot down some of the things. I'll just go on dictating and explaining at the same time. So the first point of comparison is, you can write down, I'll dictate. Belt drive is a flexible drive. Belt drive is a flexible drive, whereas belt drive is a flexible drive, whereas chain drive is a rigid drive. That means chain drive is a positive drive. You can also write in the same. Chain drive is a positive drive. So what we have written is, it is a positive drive, it is a rigid drive. Chain drive is because of the metallic construction. In case of belt drive, there is, as you see, there is some elasticity present there, there is some slip present there. So all such things exist in case of belt drive, which doesn't happen in case of chain drive because of the metal. Second point, I'll write here first point, chain drive is sturdy. I'm just writing a point. You have written the entire sentence. Just a small point we have written here. Okay. Now the next point, fluctuation in speed. Now I'll dictate to you what you have to write here. You can write down. Write down. There exists a small variation. There exists a small variation in the speed of chain. In the speed of chain, there exists a small variation in the speed of chain because the center line of chain, is at a varying distance, varying means changing, is at a changing distance from center of rotation. Because center of chain is at a varying distance from center of rotation. Now let us see what we have written. Let's draw a chain drive, and I'll draw, let's say, a position like this. This is a wheel, and let's say here there is a chain. So the chain is moving on the, let's say, wheel. Now the condition that is shown in this position, you can say this is the R, that is the distance of the center line of the chain from the center of rotation, it is R. Now take different position. I am drawing the position after some time. Now this is the time where the chain roller is exactly above the center. Now I'll draw other position where it is like this. Now I draw a same condition but slightly different position. Now what happens? The center of the tooth is above the center line. The tooth is above the center line, and these grooves which are there, here the groove was exactly above the center line. Here the two grooves are on two sides of the center line, and teeth, the single tooth is exactly above. Now in this condition, if you compare this condition, the chain has come down. That means now if you try to find out the distance of the chain from the center, it is going to be this distance. So I'll call this as R minimum and this R maximum. That means what we have written is the center line of the chain is at a varying distance from the center as the chain passes. So this distance will keep on changing depending on whether the tooth is above the center line or whether the groove is above the center line. So because of that, this velocity of the chain, so this is the velocity of the chain. Chain is moving like this with certain velocity. Now this velocity is going to change from Vmax to V minimum. What is Vmax? R max into omega, and this R minimum into omega, where omega is angular velocity. So angular velocity into radius is V. V is equal to R omega. So R max and R minimum, so V max and V minimum. So there is a fluctuation in the speed. So if you see the belt drive, in case of belt drive, the velocity of the belt is constant. Whereas here, the velocity keeps on slightly changing because R changes. Now this is of course neglecting, as far as belt is concerned, this is neglecting the slip, etc. What we say is V comes equal to R into omega, whereas here R is not constant, therefore the speed keeps on varying. This is the difference between belt and chain drive. Now the next point is, you can write down again, power transmitted. By chain drive is given by P equal to T into V, where T is tension in tight side, which is similar to T1 in case of belt drive. Now see what we are done here. In the case of belt drive, we are done T1 minus T2 into V. Now we are writing only T. Why we are writing T? See now, look here. If we draw a chain drive, I'll draw a chain drive. Now chain drive looks like this. In this condition, if this is a drive and is a direction of rotation, then this will be, the tension in this side will be T, and the tension in this side is 0. On the slack side, there is no tension. Last time we have seen slack side in the of a chain, there is no tension, and the tension exists only in the tight side. So there is no T1 and T2, there is just T we have to write, which is the tension in the tight side, which is similar to T1 in case of a belt drive, but in case of belt there is T2 also, and then we take a difference T1 and T2, T1 minus T2. Here it is just T into the velocity of the belt. That is called as a power transmitted in case of chain drive. So there is a difference between the belt drive and a chain drive. I'll write the next point here. Speed of chain. You can write down speed of chain is given by V equal to, now write down V equal to small p capital N small n upon 100 meters per minute. Speed is in meters per minute, P n n upon 100, where small p is pitch of chain, which is in centimeters. So this is in centimeters. Pitch, you know what is pitch? Pitch is the distance. The distance between two rulers. The distance between the center line of two consecutive rulers, that is called as a pitch distance. So this pitch distance is measured in centimeters. Divide that by 100, so that this becomes meters. So therefore it is meters. Then N is speed in RPM, revolutions per minute. Speed of sprocket, that is revolutions per minute, and then small n is number of teeth. Number of teeth on the wheel or the sprocket. Now this sprocket, the chain is rotating on sprocket, like belt is moving on pulley, chain is moving on sprocket. So this is what we have drawn here. This is sprocket. S-P-R-O-C-K-E-T, sprocket. So the number of teeth on the sprocket, how many teeth are there? They are shown by N. So now you can see that when it performs one rotation, N number of teeth are moving forward because there are N teeth. Like that, suppose there are, instead of one rotation, there are n rotations, that is n revolutions. N revolutions per minute. So in 1 minute, suppose there are capital N revolutions. And in one revolution, there are small n number of teeth moving forward. So the total teeth moving forward in 1 minute is small n into capital N. So this many teeth are moving forward, and the distance between two teeth is pitch. So this much distance has moved forward in 1 minute. So this much amount of chain has moved forward in 1 minute. Therefore, that is the total distance in meters in 1 minute that is covered, which is nothing but the velocity of the chain. So that is how the chain velocity is calculated by this particular equation. Small p into capital N into small n, where small p is pitch of the chain in centimeters, n is the RPM of the wheel or the sprocket, and n is the number of teeth on the sprocket. You can jot this down. Okay, now next point is length of chain. How to find out length of a chain that is required? Now in this example we see that length of chain is found out by similar formula like a belt drive. So whatever equation we have derived for belt drive, on the same lines we are going to find out the length of the chain. So you can write down length of the chain is calculated by, write down length of the chain, it's calculated by similar equation which is used for belt drive. Next point is power transmitted by chain drive. Now write down here, power transmitted by chain drive is generally higher than what can be transmitted by belt drive due to sturdy metallic construction of a chain. That means chain is normally of a metal, very strong, very sturdy. So obviously it can transmit higher amount of power as compared to a belt drive. Then the next point is impact loading. Impact loading phenomenon. Now let's first write down chain drive has a noisy operation. As compared to belt drive. Chain drive has a noisy operation as compared to belt drive due to impact loading. See, now what we have written here is, in case of chain drive there is some noise which is going to come, and that is coming because of impact loading. See what is the meaning of impact loading. Let's draw a chain like this as a representation. Here there is a sprocket like this. So we have drawn a chain and a sprocket. This sprocket will rotate, chain is going to move forward. Okay. Now at the moment you can see here there is a roller. Now this roller is coming and sitting here. As it rotates, this roller will take this place. Now when that happens, this is going to have some kind of a small impact because this is a metal. So when this metal is going to sit here, metal of the roller, when it is going to sit here in the groove, that time one metal is having say impact, very light impact on the other metal, so that is creating some kind of a noise, and that keeps on happening all the time because all the so many rollers, they keep on hitting on these grooves of the sprocket. So as a result, it creates a noise. So when all of them are doing at a time, it creates substantial amount of noise. So therefore, chain has got always a noisy operation because of this kind of a impact that is taking place. That is called the impact loading phenomena, causing noise, which doesn't happen in case of a belt drive, because belt drive, it doesn't have any such thing. So it is quite smooth in operation as far as noise is concerned, whereas chain drive is producing noise because of this. Next point is lubrication. Write down. Lubrication is required for chain drive. Lubrication is required for chain drive, unlike belt drive. Unlike belt drive. This is because chain is made up of metallic rollers and links. Chain is made up of metallic rollers and links and pins. Links and pins, where there is lot of relative motion, and friction. Where there is lot of relative motion and friction. For reducing friction, chain requires lubrication. For reducing friction, chain requires lubrication. So as you can see here, there is a roller, there is a link, there is a pin. So all the time some movements keep on taking place. So wherever there are movements, there will be friction, and when there is a friction, there may be some loss, etc. So we need to have lubrication provided at all these points, which is not the case for a belt drive. In fact, you can continue further in the same point saying that belt drive needs high friction. Belt drive needs high friction. Hence lubrication is not required. Which is quite obvious, because lubrication will reduce friction. Belt drive requires as much friction as possible. So obviously there is no lubrication in case of a belt drive. Chain is reusable. Write down, chain is reusable. This is because chain drive consists of assembly of